All right. Hey, what's going on, my friends? This is your boy Turgon, the wise guy, whatever you want to call me. Welcome back. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Been busy the last couple of weeks with real life and getting my butt kicked. Just kidding. It's been an interesting season, and what we're going to do in this video is kind of walk you through a little bit of a recap. Um, and then I want to talk about some things that I find in general across the game, kind of just feedback, positive, negative, etc., and recommendations that I would like to see deployed that may potentially mitigate some of this from occurring in future seasons. So let's go to the map. As you can see, we're not doing so hot up here in Arnor, playing with the team Loki, the Lost Kingdom. Similar to last season, we're kind of boxed in. Nowhere really to go. Nothing we can really do. Kind of getting tag teamed by Gondor, Lothlorien, and Gundabad. And we're pretty resource starved and just beat up. We gave it our all, for sure. That's one of the big differentiators between this season versus the last one, where it was just a low activity across our team last season. The activity on this team has definitely been better, and it's definitely been a more coordinated, stronger group to play with, and I've enjoyed playing with them. However, this is where we kind of bridge into what I was talking about in terms of feedback regarding the game, because really the outcome of this server wasn't determined by gameplay. It's determined by diplomacy, is one way you can put it. But the way that I look at it at this point is scheming. And it's really something that I've observed now across most of the seasons that I've played. Season 3 was really the first time that I saw this exploited to an extreme measure. Season 5, it felt that way for a while, but then one of the factions decided to flip against their ally and join us, and that really um, changed the dynamic of the server. And ultimately, even though we didn't win that season, it made it feel like a winning season because the people who were poised to win it ended up getting nothing, and that just, even though we didn't get the win, it felt good. Season 6, like I said, we were just low activity, not quite as strong of a team, a lower population server. I would say lower population than this, actually, the current server that you're looking at on the map here. And diplomacy played a role, but there should be ways that you can overcome diplomatic hurdles if your team is strong and active, or if you're cunning. And at least this season, there's just been absolutely, like, I can tell, like, there's nothing we could have done that would have circumvented or prevented this outcome from occurring. Because, um, well, let me just, before I move forward, let me just dive in and provide some folks with a little bit of history. From what I understand, the team in Lothlorien, the major team, is called Yadu, and the major team in Gondor is Ares, and our team is Loki. And prior to this season, these three groups had formed an alliance that they called the Silmaril Society or something like that, something along those lines. TSS is the acronym that gets thrown around for it. And I think under normal circumstances, and by normal circumstances, I mean a server that is more populated. There's more factions in play, and the factions each have a population of 300 to 400 players versus this kind of a season where each faction has not even 200 players. I think the TSS would be a good thing with a more heavily populated server because it would help to instill balance across that server. However, in a lower population server such as this one, since it's a tri alliance, Ares and Yadu, Gondor and Loth, teamed up, and we got kind of left behind as the third wheel. We were offered an opportunity to play to make it a Linden, Arnor, Gondor, Lothlorien versus the rest of the server scenario, and we declined that option because it would have been just a cakewalk. We would have just demolished everyone else on the server very quickly and easily, and it would have made for a more boring server. And I think that they knew that we were going to make that choice because they know us. Even though this is my first season with the group, there's that history between these teams. So they prepared for that outcome prior to the decision being made. We were locked in the West before we even came back to them with an answer. They had already forged diplomatic relations with Gundabad and Variag prior to the outcome of that decision. And so what we were left with was Arnor and Linden with Rune, Erebor, and Rohan versus the other four teams, Lothlorien, Gondor, Gundabad, and Variag. And you might say, well, that sounds uneven because there's 5 factions to 4. But here's what you don't know. And this is one of the pieces of feedback that I have for the developers. Rohan and Erebor are both playing their third season of this game. They've only played 2 seasons. They don't have experience, they don't have developed commanders, and as you can see, they're getting completely crushed. And what that resulted in pretty quickly was Rohan getting smashed and creating an agreement with Lothlorien and Gondor to keep their capital. So So we essentially went from being a group of 5 to a group of 4, and Erebor was worthless anyway. They've never done anything productive the entire time. So really, it's been 3 on 4. And that has made this server absolutely unwinnable for us. That's not a balanced server. And Yadu planned for this. And that is not cool. That's not something that you would expect from a friend. That's not how friends treat friends at all. So I don't know what occurred from a leadership perspective in terms of those conversations. I'm not privy to those conversations, but being outside of those conversations, this season has been extremely frustrating because we are on a good team. We put up a good fight. We could beat Gundabad 1 versus 1, even though they have 2 full factions that are active, and we really have about 1.5. We still were stronger than them and could beat them, and we almost took Karn up here, but we got flanked by Loth. And when you're outnumbered, there's not much you can do, especially when your team is getting uprooted 10 minutes before you assault. And then we come down here to help Linden versus Gondor, and Loth follows us. And it's just constantly being overwhelmed by enemies that are more farmed than us. And it's whatever rhetoric the other side wants to say to make it seem justified in their decisions. The bottom line is they don't care about a fair fight. They only care about doing whatever it takes to win. And this is what we see across multiple seasons, multiple servers. So it's pretty disgusting and discouraging. And I'm frankly really tired of it. And looking to play a little bit more of a calmer, more relaxed, less stressful season going forward. So that's what I have at this time. That's all I'm going to talk about for today. I may come back and make another video later. We'll see how it goes. If you have any comments or feedback, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below, or as always, feel free to reach out to me either in-game or on Discord if you know me. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you stay well. Cheers.